This is Helping of Happiness, episode number 136. Today we have on Natalie Bogle, creator of the Anchor Planner, and she is teaching us all about how to become who we really want to be. Hi, I'm Hillary Hess, and you're listening to Helping of Happiness. I am a crazy mom of 7 kids who loves to build memories through eating delicious family recipes and going on adventures with my family. On this podcast, you'll be introduced to some delightful people and ideas who inspire me to be a better mom and help me bring family closer together and closer to Jesus Christ. This is one of those episodes that when I recorded this with Natalie, I just want to listen to this over and over and over again because I feel like every time that I listen to it, I hear something different or I remember something a little bit better, and I can't wait for you to hear this and just put it on loop if you need to. She's just so awesome. She's going to cover all kinds of different ways that we can plan in our lives, which I think is perfect as we're having our fresh starts here with this New Year's. Really quick, before we turn it over to Natalie, I wanted to tell you about this great little meal planning packet that I have gotten ready for you. If you are struggling with meal planning, which it is just such a headache sometimes, but you really want to be better and you want to save money when you're doing your meal planning and you want to save time and money, this is the one for you. It's got all different kinds of things of different ways that you can save money and you can save time. I walk you through the entire process of how I do my meal planning and what works for me and my family and our busy schedule. So all you have to do is click on the link in the show notes and it will take you over to our free resource library. You just punch in your email in there and we will email you the little link and passcode that gets you into our resource library so that you can have this meal planning printable packet and be all set for this new year. There's also 3 weeks of dinner ideas in there and grocery list, how to do that, and how to be more efficient at the grocery store, just picky eater stuff, so much stuff in there. So go check that out. And this all kind of goes with what we're talking about with Natalie, so it's perfect because we're just planning, right? So I cannot wait for you to meet her. So here we go. What a treat it is today. We have Natalie Bogle chatting with us today. She is the creator of Anchor Planner and just such a fantastic account. I cannot wait for you guys to meet her. Hello, Natalie.
Hello. How are you?
Welcome. I'm so good. Natalie, tell us a little bit about your family. We'd love to hear about you.
Yes. So I am a mom of 6, and my husband and I have been married for almost 20 years, which I can't believe it's been that long.
So we're kind of right about the same because I've got 7 kids and we just had our 21st anniversary this week. So we're right there with you neck and neck, it sounds like.
We totally are. So we just hit our 19th anniversary, but that's almost 20, right?
Yes, it is. I feel like it's all in the same ballpark.
Yes, totally. So my kids I have 3 boys and then 3 girls. My oldest is 16 and my youngest just turned 5. We have actually done homeschooling and we are doing more of a micro schooling right now, which is kind of where my kids go to a home, but they're in a group with 10 kids. So it's kind of been nice to pass that off to someone else.
That is nice. Everyone's doing so many different things during COVID. It's so interesting to hear how
so fun. So we started it last year, actually, before COVID. My husband taught one of the classes, and now he's been a teacher for a long time, but now he's helping other teachers do the same thing. And so it's really exciting, and it's a different way to do schooling, which has been so fun.
That is awesome. I love that.
So we also have our second daughter is adopted. So we did foster care for, oh gosh, now I have to count. We did it for about 5 years. And she was our first placement. And then we had her brother for a couple years also. But she is our only adopted daughter. And so we have 3 boys and then 3 girls. And it's a full rowdy house.
I totally get what you're talking about. We have it crazy over here too. Oh, I love it. So much fun. Okay, so I want to hear all about Anchor Planner. What's the story behind it? How did this get started? What makes you so passionate about planners? And how is it different from the other planners? Just tell me all of the things.
Awesome. I would love to tell you. So, I love how God leads us. He just leads us to where we need to be. And when we were homeschooling and fostering, so we had 7 kids at the time, I mentally was at my max. And God was like, you should be an online fitness coach. And I'm like, oh, really? You really want me to do that? So
Are you
I
sure?
prayed about it. Yeah, are you sure? Uh-huh. I'm homeschooling, I'm fostering, and you want me to be an online business coach or fitness coach. And I'm like, okay. So I prayed about it. I had a friend that was doing it. And so she really helped me. But what I learned from that whole situation or doing that, so I was an online fitness coach for about 2 years. And I learned that I needed a morning routine in order to help my mental just be able to have focus and peace. I learned that exercise gave me energy. I learned that healthy food gave me energy. And God knew that in order for me to learn all those things, that I needed to do it in a business. So from there came Anchor Planner, and Anchor Planner kind of came, my husband lost his job. And so I was like, Heavenly Father, what can I do? How can I help? And he really just was like, you should create this planner of all these things you've been learning. So everything you learned from being an online fitness coach, taking how I love to plan. I had also been working on writing my goals out. And so taking that and taking it and creating it all into one planner. And one thing that God knows is he tells me to do something and I'll do it. So
I think that's amazing. I think what a quality. We should all be like that. That's awesome.
I've just learned that he has a better plan than I do. And I like to plan. And if he tells me what to do, it won't be easy, because homeschooling, he told me to homeschool, never wanted to do that ever.
It's not easy. I am in that boat. We've been doing it for a semester. I totally get it, but it's where we're supposed to be. So I totally get you on that one.
Right. He told us to do foster care, the hardest thing in my entire life. But we've created beautiful relationships, and we have a beautiful daughter through that avenue. And so I just learned through a lot of experiences that I will just do what he asked me to do. So the Anchor Planner was basically taking all of this knowledge that I've just learned from a bunch of different businesses or podcasts that I listened to or books that I read, and putting it all together. So the Anchor Planner is a planner where you create your vision, you write who you want to be, who God wants you to be, you really pray about it. And then you create what are called 7 anchors. And they're basically statements of who you're working to become. So they can be I am statements. They can be just who you want to become. So some of my personal anchors are based on relationships. They're based on what kind of mother I want to be, what I want to do in my business. And so some of mine, one of mine is I make meaningful daily connections with Tom and each of my kids. And so I write that every day.
So it's kind of like a mantra.
It's a yes. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah. Or they can be more specific. Like one of my anchors is I run an engaging podcast, which I don't. You write them as if you have already written or already accomplished them, so that they're out there and you're thinking about how you can do that. I've really learned that if you don't create spiritually first, meaning visualize and write it down, then you will never even think about it. You won't ever have the opportunity to even create it. So those are what your anchors are doing, is really creating spiritually first. And then the anchor planner includes an hourly daily plan. So you schedule your day. It also includes a section for you to choose one of your anchors and put a goal with it. So just making it more specific and measurable, and writing your actions that you're going to take that day to work on your goal.
So give me an example of a goal that you would take to the next level and make little actions for.
So one of my anchors is I teach families to anchor their day to their divine potential. So that's what I want to do with my business. And then something that I just finished was I created a journal. So that was my goal, was create the anchor journal so that I can teach families to anchor their day to their divine potential. And so it's really just, I have another example would be, maybe you want to have a health goal. So for a while I wrote, I fuel my body with healthy food. And then maybe your goal that would go with it is, I created a meal plan to fuel my body with healthy food. And so just making it more specific, and so that you have specific actions that you're taking, and how you can measure it.
Love this. This is so good. Oh, I have so many things I'm going to tell myself I already am. This is wonderful.
But I really learned through, it's funny how God has you create something and then he teaches you while you create it. And so I've learned that you have to have an anchor. You have to have who you're working to become, and then you create the goal from that. Otherwise, the goal just goes by the wayside. You know, if you have a goal of, I want to fit into these jeans, well, why do you want to fit into these jeans? Because unless you have, well, I want to have more energy to play with my kids. Okay, well, that's really the actual goal that you want to do. It doesn't matter what jeans you're wearing. You want to be able to play on the playground with your kids. And so just being really intentional, and as you write your goals and your anchors every day, that's when you learn what you actually really want and what God wants for you. I had like my mothering anchor for a while was, I am a patient mom, which is good, but it just wasn't like exactly feeling right as I wrote it. And then it led to, well, I really want to be more intentional. Okay, well, how do I want to be more intentional? Okay, well, I want to be able to make meaningful daily connections. And that's when I was like, okay, that's what my anchor is I make meaningful daily connections with each of my kids. And that's the one that I write every day. And it's stuck for about a year now. So I know that's the one that I need.
I love that. I think that's so great because, oh, yes, we all want more patience with our kids. I love that it's a little bit more specific. That is so good.
The anchor planner has really just, we started with that. I started with that. And then now it's led into, sometimes planning is hard for people, right? Not everyone uses a planner. I really felt that if we could just connect with God every day, that's where it needs to begin. And so that's when the anchor journal came in. And the anchor journal is really just taking this journal to pray with you. And when you pray, you write down your thoughts and feelings, you write what you're grateful for, and you just write the messages that God inspires and whispers to you. And it is amazing that as we set that 5 minutes a day, what he tells us. And if I could teach one thing, that's it, is to anchor your day to God every single day.
That's so good. I love it. Oh my gosh, this is perfect because we're starting a new year, and I just love all these tips and tricks because it's like so nice to have a fresh start. I love having a fresh start, whether it's the beginning of a school year, the beginning of the new year. I mean, I know we can have fresh starts anytime. We really can. But it just feels like, let's just shove all this back and recognize the good that we've done, and let's just press forward. So I would love, just, do you mind taking us through some more tips of how to kind of plan and organize?
Sure. So I, on my blog, I have a post called 5 Tips for Planning and Organizing. And so these don't specifically go along with the anchor planner. They're just tips for planning and organizing your life. So the first one is to plan a whole month at a time. Meal planning is not my favorite, but with a family of 8, we have to do it. So for a long time, I would plan a week at a time, and it's like the dreaded Sunday thing. And I had a friend that said, oh, I just plan a whole month at a time. And I'm like, there's no way I could do that. But as I sat down and actually did it, I realized it took me 15 more minutes. And then I had 4 weeks planned, and I didn't have to worry about, the rest of the month. Now I just need someone to go and do all my shopping.
Right? I know the feeling. Oh, actually, I did have a shopper. My daughter, before she went on her mission, so many times I would just give her my list and be like, okay, on your way home, grab this. And I mean, if there were specific things that I thought, oh, this is going to be a little tricky for her. But a lot of times I could just take a picture and say, this is what the label looks like. Get these. And the more she did it, the more. So now that she's gone, it's like, oh,
right. Well, and I order, but I still have to order every week.
Well, and sometimes the order doesn't come all the way through. It's like, oh,
right.
We couldn't pull these items. And you're like, shoot, that was dinner.
Exactly. I'm like, well, that's what I was supposed to have tonight.
Right.
So my second tip is to share your digital calendar with your family. So I use my Anchor Planner. It's written, but I use my Anchor Planner for my goals. So what actions I'm going to take on that day, what I specifically need to do as a mom. Maybe I have laundry that day, or I need to order my groceries or something like that. That's in my to-do list. But my digital calendar, things that I need my other family members to know, I share it. I share it with my husband, and my 2 sons that are old enough that have their phones.
So do you put your family's activities at all in your Anchor Planner, or you keep that completely separate?
I don't. I have it for myself. We have a family calendar that we have hanging up that I put all the kids' activities on, and I have it digitally in my phone. But my Anchor Planner is just for me and my goals.
I love that.
Yeah.
I'm a paper and digital person too, so I really appreciate that.
Yeah. Otherwise it gets too cluttered, and it's just me looking at my Anchor Planner. So, and then the digital is nice to be able to share with your family members. My kids are always like, well, what do we have this week? And they'll pull up their own calendar. So It's really nice.
Yeah, that is nice, especially if they're updating it when they should be. That's always really nice too. So that you know what's happening.
Right. So my third tip for digital is also to share your grocery list. So I use Google Keep. So it's just Google, and you can share it to your kids or your husband or anything like that. So they can add on there, and I can add, like my son he just gave me back my card.
Perfect.
My credit card, because he just went to pick up some things for his dad's birthday breakfast, and I just put it on the list, and he went and got them. So it's kind of nice.
That's amazing. Well, and then it's like whoever is going to be out going to the store, you don't have to try to hurry up and get them a list ready. Right. It's just there, and it's a quick text. I'm going to the store, and they've got everything.
Right, the whole list, and you can add it. The whole week. Everyone can just be putting things on there, and then it's right there. Yeah, so
that's
easy.
So helpful, especially if they need something specific for school, or they need something for a church class, or I don't know. I feel like there's always those little things that come up. Like last week, we needed a white elephant gift at the last minute, and I was like, well, that would have been nice to know a month ago, or a week ago, or a day ago, and not that we have it tonight. You know what I mean? I think that's really great.
Yep. So my fourth tip for planning and organizing is to work and clean together. So every night after dinner, we all clean the kitchen, and there's 8 of us, and generally 2 are gone somewhere.
Right.
Who knows which 2? But we just clean the kitchen together. So then in the morning, the kitchen is clean. And it's so nice to have a clean kitchen after dinner. And so we do it together. And then every other Friday, we clean the house, and the kids clean the bathrooms, and I don't have to.
Yeah, that's my kids totally clean the bathrooms. Very rarely do I do a bathroom anymore.
Rarely. I know. I'm like, man, when they all leave, I'll have to clean my own bathroom again.
I know. I thought that the other day. Like, man, I've really been enjoying this. I do wipe down my sink sometimes just because I'm
Yes.
a
Yeah.
little tidier, and sometimes the mirrors, it's you can tell they did the job,
Right.
but it's not clean.
Right.
Like, it's
Right.
all smudgy,
I
depending on
know.
the age of the kid who did it. But
Yes. So then my last tip is to block schedule your time. In the mornings is when I always do my self-care. So I pray, read my scriptures, I fill out my planner, I exercise. And the kids know that that's mom's taking care of herself. And it's kind of been nice because I see some of those things my older kids start doing. But
that
then I
is
have,
nice. Will mine
yeah,
ever catch on? I don't know.
they've caught on to the exercise, not some
That's
of the other
awesome.
things quite
That's
yet.
so great.
So I have like a work time that I do my work during the day. I have the kids have a time when they know that it's time for electronics. And so just block scheduling our time, meaning setting times throughout the day that you know you're going to do certain things. I know in the afternoon, like 4 to 8 o'clock is when it's family time. We're making dinner, we're helping with homework if they have any kind of homework. And I think some of us naturally do that anyways.
Yeah.
But labeling those times gives us it frees up our mental like
Yeah.
garbage and jumble that goes around.
Well, and you know when you're going to do certain things, right? Like it saves me when I do this. When I don't do this, it's like it kind of ebbs and flows. Sometimes I'm really, really good about block scheduling. And then sometimes, I don't know, a lot of times it kind of goes with vacations. It's like everything gets kind of out of whack and you have to
Right.
pull it back.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, not even always going on vacation, just being on a break, I guess, for school.
Right.
But you know what I mean?
Yep.
But when they know, I mean, there's not that resistance either from the kids, well, we're going to be
Right.
doing this, then, well, we do that every day at this time. Why would you fight me about that? We just do it.
Right.
But it helps me too, as far as, okay, well, I can't do 15 different things right now, but I know I can get to those work things during those work hours. And so I can just put that in the queue. I know I can get to that thing when I'm doing my meal plan. Anyway,
Right.
that block scheduling is such a lifesaver.
It's such a lifesaver, and it frees up so much mental space.
Yeah.
Because I know when I have that list of 15 things that I'm like, I don't know, what should I do next? Well, what should I do here? And so if I can categorize those, okay, well, this is family activities, I can do that there, and this is work, and this is church, and when I'm doing those certain things, it just kind of frees it up.
Yeah, it does. Well, it'll let you know where you can plug in your fun, and it just takes off some of that overwhelm, I think.
Yep. Definitely.
Those are so good.
So those are my 5 tips.
I love those. Do you have like a personal story about planning or organizing that you can share with us?
Okay, so personal story. Like my whole life? No. This is what I've learned about planning and organizing. And I kind of touched a little bit about it on meal planning, is that planning and organizing ebbs and flows. Just like you said, like our systems will change. I used to do my work time during nap time because that's when the kids were asleep. And now I do it while they're at school, or if they're home, then I do it usually during their electronics time, which is 2 to 4.
Yeah.
But my story really is just that it changes. Our laundry system, I remember doing our laundry system. You have all the little kids and you have little ones, and I'm doing all the laundry all the time. And so for a while it was okay, I decided I would just do it all in one day. I'm going to do it all in one day. I'm going to watch the shows while I fold the laundry.
Right. Yeah, those are the days almost, right?
Right. And do all the laundry in one day. And that worked. But then they got older and I'm like, okay, they can start doing their own laundry. And so then they started doing their own laundry. And so each kid has their one day they do their own laundry and I get to do my own. And I think we just have to realize that it's like the baby stage. The baby, it changes. It goes from baby to toddler, different, still hard. And then it goes to preteen, different, a little bit easier, but hard. And then it goes to teenager and you're like, whoa. They have a lot of freedom. Not sure exactly.
Totally different hard. Yeah.
Totally different. But it's the same with our planning and organizing. Like if something isn't working, then change it and pray about it. I have learned that Heavenly Father helps us in every single detail of our lives. And so if we're struggling with our laundry routine, pray about it, write about it. He'll help you come up with a new system.
Natalie, I think you're like my new best friend. I love everything you're saying. And it's just reminding me, you need to get back on the ball, Hillary. I love this so much. And I think I love it too, because I know how good I feel when I'm more organized. Like,
right.
But I mean, there are times when I do feel like I do have to just say, you know what? Sometimes we just have to let it go.
Right. Like
I
now
really
when
do feel so much better when I'm organized, everything. And I think maybe a lot of it comes with a lot of kids and work responsibilities. And it just is really nice to kind of keep those all in a row as much as you can. But
right. Well, and like now with, Christmas and things, I have to decide where to use my time.
Yes.
And so really
it's such a hard choice sometimes.
It is. And so I've been really like trying to, I have some amazing things coming up. We're going to do a 90-day challenge in January. And so trying to figure out, I need to write out what I'm doing and all those things. And I realized that the only time I can do that is early in the morning. So, deciding that I need to go to bed at a decent time so I can get up and work on it then. But it's nice because then I'm not worried about when I'm going to do that.
Okay, so how do you get to bed? This is what I'm struggling with. Because I am been trying super hard to get up really early because I can get a lot done. I really feel like I'm centered and I receive for myself probably the best revelation first thing in the morning.
Me
so
too.
If I don't get up early, then I kind of miss that window and it's a real bummer. So,
right.
But I have tiny ones that are up at like 5:30 or 6 in the morning. So it's like I really have to get up early. But then I have teenagers that once I put the little ones to bed, it's like they really want to just stay up, especially when it's a school break.
Right.
They really want to just stay up. And it's like, oh, we get you all to ourselves without all the little ones running around.
Right.
Well, and then I want to spend at least a little time with my husband without all of the other people around.
Right.
So how do you go to sleep?
Right.
This is the hardest thing. How do you figure that out?
So I've learned that I'm not really good at staying up late. And my kids, when they come home at midnight, they get dad.
Oh, man.
Because
then what do I do when my husband falls asleep on the couch at 10? Then we're really in trouble.
So they talk with dad and he's not always asleep or awake. I mean, but and then we talk in the morning. Like I just feel like I am way better in the morning. And we just have to decide. We have to decide when's the best time. And if it is a good day for you to stay up with your teenagers, then do. And then say, okay, guys, this was really great. Tomorrow I'm going to bed early because this is when I receive the inspiration so that I can do amazing things and teach amazing things to these women. And so it's just really communicating with our family, and they know that I go to bed early so I can get up early and be happy.
I love that. That's actually wonderful. I need to have a chat with everybody. And I think they're all tired too. We all just were having too much fun or something. I don't know. We just need to have fun earlier.
Right. But I know it's hard with the little ones. Our girls are 9, 8, and 5, and they usually go to bed around 8:30. But I really try to stick to that because then it's like, okay, we can get them in bed at 8 or 8:30, and then my 11-year-old, he's supposed to go to bed at 9, but that's not usually till 10.
Isn't it so hard? Like that age for us right now, it's like sometimes he's shoved down with the little kids, but he wants so
Uh-huh.
badly to be with the older boys. And so he kind of flip-flops. And
Right.
some days I'm
Right.
like, yeah, you can stay up, and other days I'm like, no, you're going to bed as early as possible. 'cause
Right.
you're
Right.
so overtired.
Yeah. And so it's just deciding and communicating, really, and deciding on, okay, these are the days I'm getting up early, so I have to go to bed.
Okay. I love it. Okay, I'm going to start doing it. You told me I had to, so I'm going to do it.
I'll hold you accountable.
Okay, so do you ever fall off the wagon with being organized, or you're just like have such a firm testimony of this that you're just on it?
Okay, so okay, my anchor planner is undated for a reason. And the reason is like Sundays, I don't usually plan, anything like that. But since I've been doing this now for about 2-3 years, I can see God in my life every single day. And I know that when I get up in the morning, I get to connect with him. And if I don't get up in the morning, I miss that, just like you said, and it throws my whole day off. And so I've really learned that if I want to have a peaceful heart, I need to do that. And do I do it every day? No, but more than often. I would, 90%. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I kind of love that you give yourself Sundays off. It's kind of your day of rest a little bit in a way, right?
Uh-huh. Well, because I'm like, what do I have to plan?
Well, and generally on Sunday, it's like a day where you're going to be a little more connected to God in other ways than you would be on a weekday. So you can kind of get that covered through other ways.
Right. Yep. And the way I keep myself accountable is I have alarms in my phone. So I'm really good at a morning routine, but I wanted to do a night routine for like 6 months now. I'm like, oh, you have a night routine? I follow Brooke Snow, and I'm like, I didn't know you had a night routine. Maybe I need a night routine, And she talked about her night routine, and I just was like, oh, I'm always so tired at night. I don't know what to do. And finally, with creating the anchor journal, it's like, you should do the journal at night. And so I was trying to do it at 9:00, and that just wasn't working. Every time my alarm went off at 9:00, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired.
Yeah, that's me. I'm toast at night.
So I moved it to 7:00. And so my alarm will go off at 7. And I thought, okay, that's usually when the kids have gotten their pajamas on and they're winding down with a TV show for that hour before 8:00. And so I really can do it then. And so it's been really, it's great. And I think once we learn something that we connect with God and have that spiritual experience, we keep coming back for it.
Yeah.
And it's just finding the time and the right place and the right situation. And once we can find that, then it's exciting. But the only way we find it is trying.
Yeah. And I'm with you 100% on that. Because I don't think that you can really understand the benefits of doing it until you've done it.
Right.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of like the blessings of tithing, I feel like. I don't feel like I feel the blessings of paying my tithing until I've paid it and you see the blessings in your life, right?
Exactly. And you're like, wow, I made it through COVID and I didn't have to buy more toilet paper or run out of toilet paper.
Right. I know. All those little tender mercies. Toilet paper, Clorox, whatever you're looking at. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm also really excited about strengthening your physical body. I mean, you have so many things. I could talk to you for like weeks. We could just have the new Natalie podcast coming at her. I just love it. But I would love to cover your strengthening your physical body so your spirit can thrive. Yes. Because I think that is such a huge goal for me for the new year. Everybody is trying to be a little healthier in the new year, Mm-hmm. And I am so exhausted from the calorie counting way of being healthy for the new year that I am just done with doing
Right.
I am ready to honor my body in other ways. So I would
Yes.
love for you to talk about your
Okay.
ways.
Let me share a quick story. So, when I was going through, kind of that mental, I didn't have a breakdown, but just really struggling mentally. And God said, you should be an online fitness coach. I was like, oh, okay. But I really learned that taking care of our physical body really does make your spirit thrive, because if you are not feeding your body healthy food, you're just foggy and you're sluggish and you don't have energy. And so I will share my 5 tips, and then I want to add to that story. But the 5 tips I have for strengthening your physical body so your spirit can thrive. The first one is to have a bedtime, which we kind of talked about this. Because if we're tired, the rest of the day we're just sluggish. Our mind isn't as quick. And so being able to get 7 hours of sleep, I can't remember what the recommendation is. It's like 7 to 9, which I only get 7. But that's
9. Whoa, what would that be like? No, I'm with you. 7's a good number for me.
So my second tip is to carry a big water bottle with you everywhere you go. I like to have a straw because I feel like I drink more when it has a straw, and just make sure it's always with you, and a bathroom nearby. No.
Seriously. I always find that when I'm trying to, the ebbs and flows, whenever I'm trying to get better about drinking again, I'm like, man, I'm going to the bathroom all day long.
All the time.
I'm first getting used to it, especially.
So then my third tip is to exercise in the morning. Now, I have exercised at home for the last 4 or 5 years, but I just do 20 to 30 minutes. It doesn't have to be a huge thing. It could be yoga, it could be stretching, but moving our body and getting our heart pumping and sweating really allows those endorphins to help you for the entire day. And that's why I recommend doing it in the morning. I could never do it in the evening because I'm always too exhausted by then.
I know.
But you
I
want
always
to
tell myself I'll do it at night, but there's no way.
Right.
There's nothing left.
So then my fourth tip is to start your day with a healthy breakfast. And I am a person of routine, you probably know. I don't make it fancy. So I either have a healthy shake or I have Greek yogurt with fruit. I have just started this new breakfast, and most of you are probably going to think it's gross.
Give it to me. I can't wait.
I take 2 eggs and I heat them up in the microwave in a bowl.
I didn't even really think that you could do that. I guess I probably should know that.
I had no idea that you could cook eggs in the microwave until a teenager taught me that. And I'm like,
how long do you cook them? How long?
A minute and 8 seconds.
That's nothing. That is like the quick protein ever.
Right.
Okay, I need to try this because I could totally teach my kids how to do this.
Right. So they're a little bit more fluffy. It's kind of interesting. So my daughter, who's autistic, she doesn't like them. The texture's funny.
She's like, I can't take the foamy eggs.
Right. But my other kids, they'll eat them. We call it egg in a bowl.
Oh my gosh, I'm totally gonna try that. We're having egg in a bowl. It makes it sound so fancy.
Go make yourself egg in a bowl.
Oh my gosh, that is so fun. Man, you could probably even sprinkle like a little bit of cheese on there or something, and the kids would be super excited.
Cheese. I put avocado in mine afterwards.
Love avocado.
So that's been easy because for a while I would eat hard-boiled eggs, like just cook a bunch. But you know how things are. It's like, ooh, this tastes really good for about a month, and then you need to switch something up.
Yeah.
So
but I am like you, and I can have pretty much the same breakfast almost every day. I don't need a lot of breakfast variation. Dinner, I need lots of variation, but breakfast, I can eat the same thing every day. I don't know.
So start your day with healthy breakfast, though.
Okay.
And then the last thing is to meditate. I've just started meditating probably about 8 months ago, and only for 5 minutes a day. Like, it's not even this huge thing. And I really added it into my prayers. And so just praying and listening to that calming music.
So what
And
does that look like? Explain that to me a little bit. Because
okay.
I'm really interested about meditation, and I've tried it several times, but I haven't figured out the right way that works for me. So maybe this is the way.
Okay. So I go to my closet, because
I'm already there. That works.
Yep, you're already in your closet. Yep. I take my headphones. I have just calming music. Really, I mean, you can look up anything. And I would research some before, just so that you have a few that you like. Because I listen to the same 3 songs every single morning. And then really it's just deep breathing and thinking of, okay, so there's tons of guided meditations. Brooke Snow is really good at guided meditations, but she also teaches you to do your own meditating. And so basically it's just breathing in light and letting, and it's just the words breathing. I'm breathing in light, and then I'm letting out my false self. I'm breathing in gratitude, and then I'm breathing out peace. And then I actually just go into prayer. And so it's really just this quick meditation, and I'm sitting there in cross-legged.
So you sit down. Okay, that's the other thing. Like, do you lay down? Do you sit down?
No, so I sit cross-legged, with my hands on my knees, kind of upwards,
like your typical meditating
typical
stance.
Meditation. Yes.
Okay.
So funny story. We were at the cabin with my sisters and all of my nieces. There were 9 of them, all sleeping on the floor. This was just 2 days ago. They were not going to sleep. And so one of my nieces like, I need some calming music. So I'm like, okay. So I turned on my meditation music and they're like, what is this? And my daughter was like, oh, it's my mom's meditation music. So then they're all like, oh, you do, I'm like, no, you can lay down if you want. You can sit cross-legged, whatever you want to do. Just, and so we had our own little meditation there. And it was so fun to be able to teach them. And it's like, I truly feel like meditating is just connecting with God, really. And breathing in light and gratitude so that you begin with that kind of feeling. And it's amazing. Like, after this podcast, just sit there and breathe in the word gratitude. It's amazing the feeling that you get just by breathing in and saying that word. And so my meditating prayer is I just sit there cross-legged with my hands on my knees. I have my calming music. I breathe in those words, and then I write, and I say, pray, and I write. These are the things I'm grateful for. And then I think, I just sit there and I think a little more, or I breathe and then I write some more, and that's it.
So this is really another place where your anchor planner really comes in handy. It's during your meditations.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah. So my morning routine is I get up, like, what do I do? It's early in the morning.
We're getting into late afternoon. Our brains are foggy. We've been up for a long time.
Exactly. So, okay, I pray, I do my meditating, I write in my anchor journal, and then I read some scriptures, and then I go straight into my planner and plan my day, and then I go and exercise. And so it does take me probably about an hour to do all of that now.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask you. How long is this? But that's doable. An hour is totally doable.
I could do it forever, to tell you the truth. It's so peaceful and quiet to sit there, and because God really does speak to you in those moments, and having that connection every single morning is exciting, really.
That's so great. Okay, so let's go back to did we go full circle with why?
You know what?
I think
I forgot to
finish that story, right?
Finish my story, right?
Yeah, finish your story. Like, wait,
Oh,
I was going to go into the next question, but then I'm like, wait, I know you said when you're done at the 5 things, you were going to come back.
Yes.
So we're going back.
We're going back. So I have been struggling with my physical health lately, I guess. My shoulder's hurting. I'm getting older. My hip is hurting. I'm like, oh my
Oh,
gosh,
I hate
I've been,
that. I'm with you. It's the
I've been
worst.
slacking, right? I've been slacking on eating healthy, and I had been eating way too much sugar because
Oh,
it's
yes.
Christmas time.
Oh, it's killing me. And every day I'm like,
Killing me.
okay, I'm
Yep.
reading it in today. It's just been too much. And then I'm like, oh man, those two cookies look so amazing. And look at the
Right.
hot chocolate that we're having tonight. And oh, it's just,
Right.
oh,
Right. And so I was on this kind of live webinar, and this woman talked about how self-care, and how, if it was a business webinar, she talked about how that she is the thoroughbred in her business. And I thought, gosh, that's so true, that she is the $1 million thoroughbred, that, you know, you're the horse that you're paying for. And so they're going to feed the horse the best food. They're going to exercise the horse the best way. They're going to take care of the horse as much as they can, and how she is that thoroughbred. And so that's kind of been one of my anchors that I've been writing, that I am the thoroughbred. I am the one who wants to run the business, who wants to teach others about God's truths, who wants to, you know, be an example to her family. And so if I want to be that person, I have to teach myself. I have to take care of myself.
right.
I have to feed myself healthy food. I have to drink the water. I have to exercise. And I want to do that. And so it was just really kind of confirming to me that that's what I want to do. I want to be the thoroughbred.
I love that. I think that's so good. And I wanted to go back to your 5 ways for a second too, how you
Yeah.
talked about at the very start, 5 ways of the healthy body anyway. When you were talking about getting enough rest so that you're not foggy. So I had an experience like just a few weeks ago. We were going to Nashville for my niece's baptism, doing this pro and con list because I was going by myself with my 4 younger kids. It's a 10-hour drive for me to drive to Nashville. So it was going to be quick. We didn't have time. It was just the beginning of December. So we needed to turn right back around so I could get back and get to work. And because we just had a lot of stuff going on. And so I was doing my pros and cons list, and there were way more pros of me going than cons. But I just couldn't get myself there to commit. It was just, I'm like, what is it? Is it just not right? And it was one of the mornings where I'd gotten up early and I was trying to do my little journaling. And all of a sudden I just had this huge thought come to me. You are tired. You cannot make a decision right now. And I'm like, that's what it is. I'm exhausted. I cannot make any kind of decision because I am just toast. And so I went and took a nap, and I told my kids, I'm like, if you want to go on this trip tomorrow, because I mean, that was how last minute our decision was to go, then I have to sleep because I can't even think about going right now because I'm so tired. And that was my answer. It was resting my body so that I could make a good decision. So I love that you have rest in there, because it was, I mean, I know that, but that experience really was a big eye opener for me of really learning that personally.
Well, and I can tell, I mean, when we're tired, our spirit can't feel the inspiration it needs to. And I mean, God will be there when he needs to be, but it's so much easier when we have energy and we're feeding our body healthy food, which, like you said, we all struggle. I am not good at always doing that.
Yeah.
But I do know that when I haven't eaten a lot of sugar for a week, I can feel it. I can feel it in my brain. I'm able to receive that inspiration easier. And I need to remind myself this, because it's like, why am I eating all this junk? You know, why am I doing that? I want to be able to receive God's inspiration so that I can be better at mothering, be a better wife, and be a better Natalie, right?
Yeah. Okay, this is why you had to be on, because I need to remember all of these things. This is so wonderful. I love it. Okay, so how do we help our kids to do this? That is where it's sometimes a struggle for me. I mean, they see me exercising in the morning, and sometimes they join in, and sometimes they just get in my way, or they climb on me when I'm doing my yoga, or they just mock me or watch me or completely ignore me.
Same.
But
Same.
yeah.
So the same. It's hard. It's hard. And I feel like the best thing we can do is just to be consistent with our own health and growth and spiritual growth, and then communicate what we're learning, what we're doing. And I have an autistic daughter, and she really struggles with not having a routine. So like when she has school and then she comes home and, you know, we have an hour or two till dinner time, it's actually better for her. But we're into Christmas break here, and I was really praying, like, Heavenly Father, I don't know what I'm going to do, because she's autistic. She has major meltdowns when things aren't going the way that she thinks they should go. And so when we don't have this structure, she struggles. And the thought came to me again, you know, I always have to be reminded again. Remember that?
That actually makes me feel better that you don't just do everything on the first try, because it can nag on me for a while on some things.
Definitely. It was like, remember that planner you created for teens? Well, she's only 8. And so, you know, she hasn't really used it. And it's like, sit down with her at night, the night before, and plan out her day so that she can thrive the next day. And so we haven't done it yet because we've been at the cabin and all of those things, but I do know I need to do that. Otherwise it's not going to work. She's going to struggle. And so am I.
Yeah. The whole family, right?
The whole family. Yeah.
The whole family.
So my one tip is to plan the day before, but it takes time. It takes time to do that. And it takes energy to do that. And it takes consistency to do that. And we're not very good at it, but we try.
Yeah. That's so good. I love that. And I love that you bring that up. Maybe that will be an answer for one of these mamas listening that will help their kids too. That's so great.
Yeah. I wrote down 3 was to pick up before dinner or TV time. So like my kids know that if they want to watch TV at 2:00 during electronics time, then they need to have picked up all their toys. And like for dinner, we can't eat dinner at the table unless it's cleaned off.
Yeah, right.
So just having those consistent things of planning and organizing, and then routine. Like I said, all of us thrive better with routine, where we have maybe like the block scheduling, where we know, okay, this is when we're doing our school time, this is when we're doing our electronic time. We just all thrive better when we have those routines.
Love that. Love that. Okay, so let's tell everybody we have the planner, which is the Anchor planner.
Yeah.
Have the teen planner.
Mm-hmm.
And now you have a prayer journal.
Yep.
Okay, where can we find all these things? Let's tell everybody where we can find you and your planners and your journals and all of these wonderful things that are going to just be the tools to our happy, organized lives.
So you can go to anchorplanner.com to buy your journals, buy your planners. There's a ultimate guide to a morning routine on there, 15-minute morning routine. So your morning routine does not have to take an hour like mine. You can do an amazing morning routine in 15 minutes. And so I would start there if you're starting new with a morning routine. And then of course, Instagram, Anchor Planner is where you'll find me. And I love hanging out on there and becoming friends. So I'd love to become your friend over there on Instagram.
And that's where we became friends. And I'm so excited about it. I love it. So come on Instagram, visit Anchor Planner, visit Helping of Happiness. We love to be friends on Instagram. It's a great place.
Yes, it's so fun over there.
Well, was there anything else you wanted to share?
Anything else? Basically, okay, one last thing. I've touched on this. The biggest thing we can do for anything is to pray about what we want who God created us to be. We can ask our friends, we can ask our family, but God really knows. And so if we pray about it, he will speak to you. And maybe it's small of he wants you to help your daughter write a story. Maybe it's he wants you to build a business, but he will tell you who you are and who he created you to be. And then we have to work. If we don't work, then we're not going to grow, and he won't know what to teach you next, because we learn line upon line, a little bit at a little by a little. And so as we work, he will continue to teach you who he created you to be.
Just beautiful. I love this so much, Natalie. Thank you a million. This has just been like the best hour of my week. I just love it. I am such a planner and organizer at heart, and when I can do it, it really is some of my self-care, and I need to remind myself that it just makes everything go so much better. So it
does. It's freeing. It frees your mind of all the jumble. It frees my anxiousness.
Yeah.
That's well, it was fun. I love chatting with you today too.
This has been so fun. Isn't Natalie the greatest? She's the best teacher and the best inspiration. I just feel so excited to be so much better in so many areas of my life. So go get her anchor planner. Go get my free meal printable packet so that you can be getting your meal planning all ready to go. I do it by every 2 weeks. She does hers by a month, but you could very easily do, mine 2 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever you want to do. But there's lots of meal ideas in there, and we're going to just have you all set up for success for 2021. Have a great week, and if you enjoyed this episode, please, if you're listening through Apple Podcasts, leave me a review on there so that I can hear what you liked, if you're enjoying the guests that we've been having on or certain topics, or there's something else that you'd like to hear. I'd love to have a rating and a review from you on there. And of course, if you're loving it, subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Have a very Merry Christmas.